Yeah, good afternoon everyone. As earlier yesterday's class we discussed list operations, functions and different modules, and we have seen the different operations on the list, how to write a function, nested functions and different modules available in the Python. So in today's class we are going to see what are exceptions. Exceptions are nothing but an unexpected error that shows in a program while executing. And we have already seen few of the exceptions in our previous classes. That is like if you have declared a list of some 5 objects and you are calling about the 6th object, it will raise an error. That is nothing but an exception. In the C language, there are also exceptions will be raised, but there is no particular way to handle the exceptions. Only the user who are coding, who are the coders, want to re-refer the code and want to remove the exceptions. There is no way to handle exceptions in the C language, whereas in the Python and Java, we can handle exceptions by using some try and catch statements. We will see it in the few moments. So here one of the example program. So num1 is a variable that is assigned to 7 and num2 is another variable assigned to 0. So we want to printing the division of num1 and num2. So 7 divided by 0. We know that 0 divided by anything, what's the value? It always is 0. But when it comes to anything by 0, it is undefined. So it will throw an error. 0 division error, division by 0. So division by 0 is not possible, it is undefined, so it throws an error. Few of the other errors we have seen so far are import errors, as when import of a file fails. Index error, as I said earlier, list is indexed with out of range number. So if there are 5 objects in the list and you want to need calling the 6th object, it will throw an error. So name error, if you are calling a variable that is not declared in the program. Syntax error, suppose if you missed any spaces in the for loop or while loop, or you fail to indent, so it will throw an error. And the type error and a value error. So here type error is want a function is called value of inappropriate type. We are calling some inappropriate type, and value error is correct, you are calling a correct type but in an inappropriate value which has an inappropriate value. So these are the few types of errors that will rise and how to handle them. In Java we handle try and catch block statements. Same as in Python, we handle errors using try and except. For the exceptions we use try and except. Let us see an example program. Here is example program. This is the try block. We know that when we declare something under the try block, the first execution starts from the try block, then it goes to the except and then except. Like will same as in Java. If you write something statement in the try block, after execution of the try block, it will go to the catch block. So here try we are using some variable that is assigned to 10. So print some variable plus hello. This is a string and this is an integer. So then print variable divided by 2. So here 10. So 10 divided by 2, there is no error. So here print value must be 5. So here answer must be 5. And we are also adding 2 exceptions, except divide by division 0 error, divide by 0, and exception of a value error, type error occurred. So whenever exception of the divide by 0 occurs, it will print the divide by 0 exception. And if if divide by 0 error has occurred, then the statements beneath that will not be executed. Directly we will quit the program, we will come to upload the program. So here variable assigned to the 10. So print variable plus hello. This is 10. This is an integer and we are adding to a string. So it is not possible. So it will goes for an value error or type error and error occurred. So here exception occurred. So it will come out of the program. So when coming out of the program, we are calling it except and we are declaring the exception here. Whenever this exception occurred, we want to print the error occurred. So here we have printed the error occurred, and beneath the statements will not be executed. An except statement without an exception specified will catch all the errors. here we are using except zero division error, except value error or type error. We are declaring the errors. But let us see another program of try block. Some word will be assigned, this variable is assigned with a spam string. So print word /0. So this will not be possible. This may be some division by zero error. But we are not declaring any division by zero as we declared earlier, zero division error. But this exception has catched the error and it is printed an error occurred. So when we are here we have seen that whenever the exception occur, it will come out of the program and execution will be stopped right away. So if you want to print something, we will declare it on the except block. So what if after execution of an error we need to print something? Then we use a finally keyword. We ensure some code no matter what error occurs. The finally statement is placed at the bottom of the try or except statement. So let us see an example. This is a try block. First we print hello, then we print 1 divided by 0. So here this is an error statement. So except exception we are print divide by 0. So finally print the code will run no matter what. So we're declaring this statement in the under the finally. So let's see the output. So print hello. This is no error. So hello will be printed. So print 1 by 0. This is divide by 0 error. So it will be divide by 0. So try executed, except executed. After the execution of everything, finally will be executed. So in the finally block we have a statement of print. This code will run no matter what. So this code will run no matter what we can be expected in the output. So here we are expecting some exceptions and we are handling them. So how can we raise an exception? So by using a keyword of raise. So the example program of print 1, we are raising a value error print 2. Can anyone guess the output? Okay, let's check the output.
Value error.
Yeah, that's correct. So we are printing 1. So there is no error in that. So this statement will successfully be executed and 1 will we can see in the output. Then we are raising a value error. So the value error is print. So we are raising an error. So an exception has been risen. So we don't see the execution of lines beneath the exception. So print 2. So 2 will not be seen in our output. We'll go some another exception of raising an exception. So name is a variable assigned with a 1, 2, 3. We are declaring actually 1, 2, 3 is a number, but we are kept between the inverted quotes. So it will say it's a string. So raise a name error invalid name. So name is we're not printing anything, so we don't expect anything in a print statement. Raise name error invalid name will be executed, and that can see in the output. We'll see in another program. So try num equal to 5, num variable will assign to 5 divided by 0. So this is divide by 0 error exception rise print an error occurred. So what we'll do, divide by 0 is an error. So this was caught like an exception and print an error occurred. So rise, as I told earlier, rise as written in the except block. It is not written outside the block. It is inside the exception block. So rise means it will catch all the whatever the error occurred in the program, it will catch and it will print down. So this is rise. So it is printed divide by 0 error. So next, assertions. Oh, whenever the program, let me say program with explain it with a program. So let us see a program of print 1. So the answer output will print, there is no error. Assert 2 plus 2 equal to 4. So this is an equivalent operator. So it is checking whether 2 plus 2 sum equal to 4 or not. So it is, if it is true, nothing will be printed in the output. Then print to second statement. So we can see print 2. I said 1 plus 1 equivalent to 3. So 1 plus 1 is a 2. 2 will not equal to 3. So this is an error. So whenever this statement fails, it will show an assertion error, and beneath the lines print 3 will not be executed. So why you use assert means So for example, if you are using yesterday as we discussed some calculator application. So whenever user entered some invalid output, the program want to check from if else, if else, else. You to go everywhere in the program want to check that whether the user, whatever the user gave an input is present in the program or not. When using the assert, suppose here we can see programmers often use assert at the state of a function to check valid input, and after a function call check out the valid output. So if user enters something other than the given input, we use an assert that given input double equal to expected input. So if user did not enter the expected input, then we automatically raise an error and the program will not be executed. So this can consume time. So another program we're going to see of this. So temp is a variable assigned to the some -10. Assert temperature greater than or equal to 0. Want to print the colder than absolute temperature. So temperature will be -10, that is less than 0, that is an error. So error we can observe the absolute temperature colder than absolute 0. So these all are about the exceptions. If you have any doubts, you can ask. We have seen exceptions. Exceptions are nothing but error in the code raised while executing the program. We have seen divide by zero error, import error, index error, name error, syntax errors, and how to handle the exceptions using try and except block. Except will give a will pass the parameter as whatever the error we are expecting. If we didn't give any parameter, whatever the error rise, it will be caught by the except. Finally, no matter what are the errors occurred in the program, you must, if you want to print a few statements, no matter what, then we'll give a finally keyword, and we can raise our own exceptions. We can pass the rise parameter, whatever the exception we want to rise. If we didn't pass any parameter, it will catch whatever the error occurred about in the program. Assertion, it will be used by the programmers as starting and ending of the function to check whether user has entered correct input and the expected output is in the current format. So next we are going to see files. So as in the C language, we can read files, we can open files, we can change data in the files, and we can save it directly into the files. And same in the Python, we can also do some changes or desired changes to the files, and we can store them, we can open them, store them, read them, and write them, whatever the desired function you need to do. So we'll see how to open a file. Just my file is just a variable we're assigning to open of file name .txt, or the format of the text you want to open. So this file must be this directory path must be in the Python wherever the Python you have installed. So then directly you can give the file name along with the what is the format of the file. So using some of the variables characters we'll use. Sending R means we want to read mode. We are opening a file in a read mode. W will be say that we are opening a file in a write mode, and A will say append mode for adding few new content at the end of the file. Yesterday we have seen that list. We are using a dot append, and we pass a parameter as a whatever the string or number we need to add into the list. So append always adds element to the end of the list, and adding B to the mode is a binary mode, and this mode will be used to open such as image files and the sound files. So here the syntax we'll see. Want to write mode, we are opening a file in a write mode, so open file name format comma double quotes W. So this will open a file in a write mode. In the read mode, open dot read. If you want to didn't mention anything, it will defaultly goes into the read mode. In the binary write mode, so open the file, file name, extension, and W will a small B beside it, so it is a binary write mode. Without B, it will go direct to write mode. So once the file open, the file we have done, if after you have done your desired changes to the file must be closed. So is a close command, file equal to open off. So we are using, opening a file in a write mode. So we have written something and want to file dot close. So this will close your file. So now here we have seen how to write file, read file, open file. So on to how to read files. So file equal to variable we're assigning to the open of file name dot extension, and we can see in the read mode we are opening. So count is equal to file dot read. So count will be assigned with all the content in the file will be stored with the count. So print count, so we are printing all the content, then the file dot close, so it will close the file. We have opened the file in a read format, we are reading all the data, and we are printing all the data, we are closing all the data. So this will print all the contents of the file name.txt. So here to read only a certain amount of file will provide a number as argument to read function. So here example program we can see here, file equal to opening a file of file name.txt in a read format, and we are provide, and beneath there we are print file dot read of 16. We are passing an argument. This will print the 16 bytes of data. You can see 16 bytes of data should be read here. So print the 4 bytes of data, and again another 4 bytes of data. If we didn't pass any argument here, it will returns the rest of the file. So whatever the data left over in the file will be printed here. So later, as I told earlier, if you open a file, that must be closed. So file dot close, we are closing the file. So here seen as an example program. Here open file equal to open of file name dot, we are reading opening a file in a read format. So we are reading a file. We are printing some statement of rereading. So print file dot read. So here we are reading for the first time. Here we are reading for the second time. So we print finished. So we have read the file for 2 times. We print finished. File will be closed. Can anyone guess the expected output? Here we can see whenever we open the file, we are printing a statement. Here we have reading a file, and we are not storing any variable. I mean, whatever the data present here, we are not storing into a different variable. So here we can see that print rereading. So first statement will execute a rereading. Here print of file read. So we don't have, we can't see anything. It's just a blank space. Then we have print finished, and okay, print finished file dot close, the closing file. So why do we get a blank space here? Because once a file was read, we can't read it again in our program. So here in the first time the file was read, and we're printing again file dot read. So this actually it's a space, it's a blank, this is nothing. So if first the first statement file has already read, so we can't read it again. So for example, if our program, our file has different lines in it. So if you want to read our program, read our file by line, we use a call command read lines method. So file dot open file name dot txt in a read format. So we'll printing of file dot read lines, file dot close. So we're printing the read lines method. So whatever the, so assume that we have 3 lines in our text file. So that is line 1 text, line 2 text, line 3 text. These are the 3 lines written in the in our file. So that will print read lines will be used in this way. It will print line by line. So we can see that this is 1 line, this is 2nd line, this is 3rd line. If we want to print it by line by one by beneath the other, so we'll go for the other program with file equal to open of file name format, we are reading file. So for line in file, so we are using a file, we are storing the file. So line means each and every line we are calling, so print line. So output will be line. line 1 text, line 2 text, line 3 text, or else want to print this. So line 1 text, line 2 text, line 3 text. This is the difference between read lines using a for loop without a for loop. Here we know that print line always prints the value in the new line. So we can see in this format line 1, line 2, line 3. So we have seen the reading files. Now we go for the writing files. The write method returns the number of bytes written into file if successful. So here message is a variable. We are storing a hello world into the message. So file the open new file.txt in the write format. We want to write something into the file. So amount written is a variable is equal that was given by file.write message. File.write message. Here is the file read message. For reading we write file.write message. So we are writing message hello world, we are writing hello world into the file. So print the amount written. So what are the amount written? We are printing it down. So we are going to close the file. So what are the expected output? That will be 12, because as I told earlier, number of bytes written into the file. So hello is a 5-letter word and world is a 5-letter word. So 10, so space was +1, exclamation mark was a +1. So 10 plus 2 will be 12. So 12 will print in the output. So if I have done working with the files, we have read, we have written. So what if there is an exceptions in the files when we are doing something, whatever the desired thing we want to do with the files. So here's the example program. We set in the try block. As we know, the try block is the first to be executed. So f is a variable we are using to open a file. So open file name. So we're using the reading the file. Finally close, because when in the try block we are using some opening a file. If we are using whatever the stuff you want to do, and I told earlier whatever the exception or reason, it will be done with the up to try and extract block, and whatever the return in the finally block will be executed in either way. So in the finally we are giving the file dot close. So whatever the happened in the try and extract block will never affect the statement in the finally block. So f dot close will always close the file. This is to ensure the file is always closed even if an error occurs. There is also another way to do this, alternative way, using the with statement. You know that with statement, we are using with statement. This is the syntax. With open, so we are opening a file as f. F is a temporary variable we are creating. So as f, print f dot read. So whenever, which is only accessible in intended block of with statement. So until the with statement is completed, the file will be accessed, and after completing the with statement, file will automatically be closed. This is the use of the with statement. Yeah, that's all for today. Does anyone have any doubts? You can ask. We have seen exceptions, different types of exceptions. Then we go for the files. Opening a file. This is a command to open a file. Open a file name dot extension, and make sure that this file directory path is must be same with your Python install directory path. We're using the different words, like for in the write command, read command, or binary read, using for the such image and sound files. So after writing the reading, you must close file using file.close. So when we come to the reading of the file, we use file.read command. If you want the read file.read, we don't pass any parameters, so it will take all the value present in the file and it will print. If you pass any parameter, it will take a particular number of bytes. So once a file was read, it cannot be read again in the program. So read lines, if your text file has some different lines, when we need to read them differently, so those were read differently by read lines. After reading onto print files, W will be a write mode, It will read files, and whatever you want to write, it will write in the number of bits format. So working on files, if any exception has been risen in the try and extract block and want to close the file, we'll go it in the finally block to close the file. So another statement, another way to close the file using a with statement. So where you can close the file after the with block was executed. Yeah, that's all for today. With this module, we have completed the module 6. So you can complete it in your solo learn, files and exceptions. Yeah, that's all for today. Thank you. Does anyone have any doubts? Okay, then that's all for today.